to another home hint from Border Home Inspection. Today I want to talk about attic accesses and attic spaces, and in particular I want to talk about the different process that they used for different eras. So in this case I'm in a home that was built in the 1920s, and when we look at the attic space, it's very typical of what I often see. And if you have an attic space like this, or you're buying a house and you're looking in the attic and you see what I'm seeing here today, this might give you a little bit more information as to what to look for or understand what you're seeing here. So let me show you what I see here. Okay, so looking inside, the very first thing I noticed was that the upper section of the roof here has been painted. Now that's normally done because there was a fire. So there was smoke damage, and restoration companies come in and if they don't deem it necessary to replace the building materials, then what they usually do is they spray it with a smoke encapsulation paint, and that basically keeps the smoke from coming back into the house. Not a very good description, but you get the point. And then the other thing I noticed is that the midpoint of these 2x4s, and now these 2x4s are probably about 16 footers, and they're 100 years old. Very good quality materials, but no matter how good the material is, if you've got a 16-foot 2x6 holding up a roof structure, it's going to sag. So we call these rafters as opposed to trusses. So today we use a different system. We have multiple pieces of the same material necessarily, but it's just got steel gussets and so on. Just a lot stronger than what you would have in this roof system. So what they've done here is they've added some braces, I guess. Sometimes people will put a piece of wood straight across from one side all the way across to the other, and that's called a collar tie. Does the same thing essentially, but coming down like this is a good way to do it. I've done it in my own house, and what I did was I put a knee wall, so that would be just like a vertical wall straight up and down at the midpoint, and that holds those up. But you never really get the sag out. So when you're looking on the outside of the roof, you'll find that the roof has a bit of a sag in it. But pretty common stuff. There's nothing here that concerns me too much. The customer will want to know that, the house has had a fire. And, in a house built in the 1920s, guess how they heated their house? Wood, and usually a cook stove. So, and usually not very safe. So it wasn't uncommon to have house fires back in the day. People get frustrated with the regulations sometimes, and I do too. But when it comes to wood stoves, you really have to follow those regulations. In this case, this house has been modified quite a lot. This used to be the old roof line coming down. But anyway, won't get into that. Just wanted to give you a few of my thoughts on attic spaces and why the roof line in particular will sag. And that's why, because these 2x4s are very, very long, and just the snow load and just the weight of everything just pushes them down slightly.